commentary about the place you live, you hear a different side of the story. It's like any situation where sort of remove yourself from the nucleus of the situation, and you're parts of a story that you wouldn't most likely hear if you were,
Okay, that's interesting. And do you find that you're watching more or less of the news lately? Because I mean, there's so much negativity in it. Since Barack's been elected and everything, do you think you're more interested in seeing what like media's trying to show, or just finding your own way? Oh shoot! Did I lose a signal? Oh god! Oh shit! Hello? Was that me that lost your call? Was it?
So, I think it's great to have a fresh perspective, and leaving the country gave us, a different perspective, but, I've always been able to maintain, I feel, an unbiased, perspective of what's going on inside of, America. And for me, I sort of believe that the American dream is kind of broken right now. We need to restore it as the people of the country.
Okay. And you guys have been compared to like the Ramones and AC/DC and Nirvana. Do you think, does that sort of thing weigh heavy on you when you hear things like that and like Blender Magazine and Rolling Stone, or is it more flattering? Like, does that kind of make you feel a responsibility to draw in more fans because of that, or I don't know?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really pay attention to much of that stuff. I just focus on, if I'm going to go look in a magazine or go watch something that has, sort of a pop culture thing, I'm definitely not going to be reading or watching stuff like that because I live with the band, all day.
Yeah. Okay. This is something I was curious about. I mean, what are some of the current bands that you guys listen to that you kind of respect? Like, maybe who would be like the top 5 on, your recently played list right now?
I would say, I like the Horrors, Kasabian.
Oh, Kasabian's great.
I enjoy the Kings of Leon. I think they're a great band, great rock band, and I like the Black Lips. And who else do I like? Oh, I like Mickey Lee. I think she's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. I know a few of those. I know Kings of Leon a little bit. And I know in your music video for I.O., you mentioned that your band is a product of the Blackout generation. Could you guys could you elaborate a little bit more on what that is exactly?
Yeah, I mean, the term that I've coined, I think the generation that, became teenagers in the, mid to late 90s, and then, are now, late 20s, and me, the generation that kind of grew up on Prozac and Ritalin and Paxil and a lot of these prescription pills that were being prescribed for, made-up diseases like ADD and things like this. And I was a kid, who was diagnosed with ADD and prescribed Ritalin and, all the fucking prescription pills you can shove down my throat. And I didn't feel like it really worked. And I feel like the one thing it did do is sort of create this sort of, generation when you were a teenager where you just sort of felt like you were constantly kind of living in the dark. Things were almost like it was almost like a state of when you're about to faint. You kind of get this fuzziness in your eyes and you can't really see well. And that's the kind of feeling that I always had when I was on those prescription pills. And I read a book about it called Postmortem Bliss that comes out on September 9th. And it's basically my diary entries from when I was 12 to 18. And
you talk about your parents in it, right, too? Because I read about that a little bit. You mentioned.
Yeah, it's just straight up diary entries of a kid just going through, the shit that
Mhm. Okay. Do you think like writing a book on that has sort of like influenced your lyrics at all, or are those on completely separate planes? Do you think?
To me, it's all in one. I've been writing since I was a young kid, and writing for me came first before music. And I mean, they almost came hand in hand. I mean, I started writing like about a year before I started playing music, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and William S. Burroughs, E.S. Eliot, and Mark Twain are all from that area. And so as a kid, I used to, those were my heroes. To me, those three guys were like my, you know, rock star, my, like, if a kid had his favorite athlete, those were like my favorite athletes. I was, I'm kind of like a book nerd.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm an English major, so I totally hear that. Ginsberg and all them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, I mean, in an interview, you said, I mean, you already mentioned this in an interview on Shock Count. You said musicians aren't politicians. They can change the world to raise awareness. And, I mean, is the prescription generation sort of just one thing, or are there a slew of things you'd like to sort of raise awareness on to your fans?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the prescription pill popping is a very serious issue for me because I just, I don't really care what people do with their bodies, it's their decision. But when you're under 18, you don't really have a choice sometimes. And when teachers or parents are telling you you have to take something, then to me that doesn't make sense. It's sort of like if you choose to take prescription pills or you choose to snort heroin or coke, that's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. When you're forced, like I was forced to take these things and didn't have a choice because I was under 18 and my parents were telling me what to do, that feel is unlawful. And so, to me, it's a heavy cause. And also, just the whole American dream feeling that it's broken right now, and that the Bush administration did a very well job of just destroying the American dream. And, hopefully Barack Obama can rebuild it sooner rather than later.
Mhm. I mean, I know I watched some YouTube videos of you guys live on stage, and I know some of them you burn dollar bills in front of your fans. I mean, do you feel like sort of like theatrics are kind of necessary to bring things to light more, or do you think you're gonna like be doing more of that in the future, like sort of kind of significant, I don't know, actions like that on stage?
I mean, I feel that live shows and, I think it's hard for musicians to admit this, but live concerts are